Jenny got undies on.
All right, this is it. We're starting, staff.
Commando.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't want to know, but good morning, everyone who's joining us live. This is becoming something of a movement. We're having more and more people join us. You'll notice a couple of things today. Everyone who's watching, you'll notice a couple of things. First of all, I'm wearing the big brain, and that has to do with our theme for today. We're going to be talking about the mental game. We started this last week. We can never talk enough about that. But also, you might notice that I'm wearing scrubs. And anyone who knows me knows that I'm not a surgeon. So there's a particular reason why I'm wearing scrubs. Good morning, Alicia.
Good morning,
Tanya.
Yeah.
Alicia.
Good morning.
And so if you stay around to the end, you're going to see why I'm wearing these scrubs today, okay?
Okay, that's not fair. I don't have scrubs.
Well, what can I tell you?
I'm videoing.
Yes. Good morning, doctor. Okay. Good. So let's get started. First of all, how's everyone doing? I just want to check in with everyone this morning. We were complaining about our caffeine today. It wasn't working.
I feel good. I got a good night's sleep, and I still need my cold brew.
Jackie's
nothing
good.
to do with it.
She's caffeinated. Jen?
Half.
Are you there? Half. Okay. You'll be joining us.
That's so angry.
Facebook page. I'm trying to answer comments as we go. So
okay. Rebecca, how about you?
I have a bullet this morning. Bulletproof.
Ooh.
Oh, you got the BP. Okay, you're
Yeah,
going to be
bulletproof
energized.
coffee or tea?
Bulletproof this morning.
Bulletproof coffee or tea?
Do you have a flavor in there?
Oh, coffee.
Coffee.
You know what? I don't make my coffee sweet anymore.
Not even with the stevia?
No. So when I was on program last year, I just decided not to use anything. I just drank it totally black. So now to have a bullet in the morning is such a treat. Like I don't use any sweeteners anymore.
Well, you know what happens on the program is that your palate changes.
It totally changes.
Yeah, and you can do things like black coffee.
Post program, I can have coffee, espresso anyway. I prefer sweet, but nothing remotely close to what I used to drink. I have on occasion, we'll stop at a drive-thru and grab a latte or something, and it has such a terrible taste to me. Like it just does not taste right. It's the strangest thing. I don't know how I did it before without, honestly.
Lisa loves her black coffee. Lisa, tell us if that was
with nothing
something you always did, or you started doing that during or after the program. Corinne, we did ask you, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful today.
Okay.
And I have coffee to go with it.
You have your coffee. Any moment I expect one of your children or your new puppy to be climbing all over you. Is that a fair assumption?
Oh, you saw the looks before because she's got her iPad on right next to me, and I'm like, turn it off.
You gave that mother look. Yeah, we all know about that. It's very effective if it's done correctly. Okay,
I wish it was
let's get
in my
started
house.
with our subject for today. As always, thin texters who are watching, you are more than welcome to comment. I actually command you to comment. I want to hear your feedback. So here's how it's going to look. I am going to be revealing a 3-step plan for winning the weight loss mental game.
This I'm waiting for.
Yeah, everyone needs this data, right?
Get your pen. Get a pen.
There was who was it? Sun Tzu said that all battles are won before they even begin, right? It all starts in the mind. You have to win the mental game, and you don't want to wait until you're in the middle of a program. So let's get started with how to do this. For each step, we will open up the discussion. Okay, I want everyone's feedback. Now, step number 1 for winning the mental game. Now, I want to qualify this. This assumes that you already have a program. So step number 1, and do we have to discuss that, the importance of having a plan, or can we just assume that that's pretty obvious? What do you think, Steph?
I don't think you can assume there's a plan.
I thought we talked about
no, but the necessity of having a plan.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Everyone gets that. Yeah, we all get that intuitively.
Yes.
Okay. So step number 1 is to choose certainty. What do I mean by that? Well, most people assume that certainty is a conclusion that comes from having an experience, so that comes from some proof. But it's really not like that. How many of us have experienced times when we were absolutely certain about something and it turned out to be wrong? Or conversely, times where, what'd you say, Jack?
I'm agreeing. Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Lisa made a good point.
What she
I'm
said?
sorry, there was a little delay, but Lisa just wrote, without a plan or a map, we get lost. That's really so true.
Absolutely.
How do you see this? I'm on here with no comments.
On the right-hand
Absolutely.
side, click comments next to private chat.
So if we're going to do a plan, we've seen this too many times. Jen, I want you to comment on this. How many times have you seen someone, they're actually on our plan, they've made the decision to do it, and yet all their doubts come flooding in. They're mid-plan and they're still being inundated by all these doubts.
Mm-hmm.
So I see a lot that people say I didn't prep my food this week, or I was out and I didn't have a meal plan, and that sabotages everything. And that's for any of us. It's not just the clients. Every single one of us. If we don't have a plan to move forward, something in place, there's no success.
That's true, but let's speak to the doubts about how we participate once we've actually made that decision.
Once you've committed.
Yeah, what have you seen about that? Somebody's committed, they sign up for the program, they pay money.
Sorry, I misheard the question.
Yeah.
Wait, more coffee. Usually by like the second or third week, the doubts start to go away because they're seeing results. So it's a little bit different. Always going into it, sitting down with somebody fresh, doing a consult is always a little bit difficult because we're saying these things about weight loss and getting healthy that they've never heard before, because the industry in and of itself is a little bit duplicitous, if you will. It's the weight loss industry is one of the biggest industries in the world, right? And there's a lot of money involved in it, and we're offering solutions that no other program has ever offered, and it sounds unbelievable. If I hadn't seen a friend do it before I jumped in and did the program, I would not have believed what I was hearing.
I agree.
And I still didn't. I still didn't believe it because they told me not to buy new clothes, that I would shrink really fast, and I went and I bought some size 10s. And I never got in those size 10s. I went right to an 8. So that's one of the things I try to tell our clients all the time. It's more believable by week 2 or 3 when they've shed the weight and they've shrunk down. Sometimes they're still down. Sometimes they still can't believe what's happening in front of them. And they're waiting for
Who is that? I hear a monkey. Who's monkey? Who belongs to that monkey?
I do. I just told her to lower her volume.
Okay. All right, got it. Rebecca, years ago, I heard a guru saying something to the effect of doubt kills the warrior. And you're someone, you go to Sedona every year, right? You're very into self-enhancement. And what has been your experience with, whether it's doing a program or just in life, what have you noticed about the potential for doubt to sabotage everything?
So it was really interesting when you said, have you ever gone into something and then had the total opposite thing happen? Like now what you expect. And I was kind of smiling because that doesn't usually happen for me. Usually if I set the intention and I really think about it and manifest the situation, it usually pretty much goes as I think I've planned. But I think it's also expectations. So I'm learning a lot about expectations and perception. So the only way to set yourself up for me to set myself up for disappointment is to set my expectations or to have expectations. And then if I have these crazy expectations and they're not met, well, then I'm disappointed. So for me, it's just about kind of staying open to.
That's very Zen of you. That is very Zen. The Buddhists believe that suffering comes from expectations.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, I don't do it perfectly, believe me, but the doubt. I feel like if I do experience the doubt, it's fear, and so it's trying to work through the fear.
Right. And Corinne, how about yourself? When you enter upon some new endeavor, are you the kind of person that you go full out? Or do you kind of carry your doubts along with you, and do they sabotage you?
I make my mind up and I say I'm going to do it, but I'm also very afraid as I'm doing it. So, for example, when I did the program last year, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And as I went through, I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I could do this. And then I hear you in my ear, and I hear Jen in my ear, and I hear Jackie in my ear going, no, you can do this and you will do this. And next week, you're not going to wear the same pants that you're going to wear this week. And I'm like, yeah, right. And it happened.
Yeah.
And it just kept going and going. And, you know, I realized for the first time in my life when it came to weight that I could be in control of my own destiny and that this can be done. It's just hard work, determination, and realizing that food does taste good, even though we're getting creative with it and we're making it healthy and our bodies feel better for it.
Corinne, you know what's interesting to me about what you said is that you mentioned me and Jen and Jackie in your ear. And I know with me and Jen, it was metaphorical, but with Jackie, she's literally in your ear. She's literally an inch away yelling at you.
That's why my husband's gray on one side. You never heard that?
I never heard that.
He says it all the time. He goes, "Oh, like what is that?" And he goes, "This is the ear my wife talks in."
Yeah. Well, you know, all too often though, we do see people, they start out the program and they're doing great and they're losing weight, and then they hit a plateau. And plateaus, as we know, are expected. But at that point, all the doubts and all the fears come flooding in.
Right.
And I've seen it get to the point where a person has stopped doing the program, which is always so sad. Now, Jackie, how have you dealt with that in the past? You've done the program, you've had plateaus. I remember you had one big one. How did you deal with that?
I was so frustrated. So of course, you know, my first round, in my mind, I killed it. I lost a ton of weight. I shrunk. I loved it. I kept it off. I had one more round to go. I did it, and what Dr. Endelstein called was adrenal fatigue. Clearly, I'm against sleeping.
Sleeping is good.
Sleeping's good. Sleeping's my friend. I promise. I've gotten better. But I was so frustrated. Like when I plateaued, I struggled. I mean, we're talking, what was it? I think almost like close to 3 weeks of nothing. I mean, not even an ounce of weight moving, but I was shrinking. And I remember coming in, Dr. Endelstein and Jen were like, "Oh my God, but you're getting so small, and like you could really see it." And I was just I felt like defeated a little bit because I was like, "Oh, you know, I had such great results and I was doing so good and I'm doing all the right things." And I was honestly not blaming, like I wasn't giving myself room for it's okay, like don't worry, this is your body, it's happening, like you're losing weight, you're shrinking, your inches are going down. Right. I was so fixated that I only had one more round to go, and I was staring at the scale and I was beating myself up. Like, what am I doing wrong? I was so down. And after talking to Dr. Endelstein and Jen, it kind of helped me, like, it's okay. Like, take a deep breath, relax, like take control. And that's really what I did. I just kind of took myself out of it. Like, I'm doing all the right things. It's going to happen. And sure enough, that's pretty much what it is. I took a little break and I went back into it and I did it. And that was it. But I really had to remove myself from it mentally, like allow myself a break. It is okay for it to not go perfectly. Like I had to give myself that, it's all right. It's okay. This is not the end of the world. Don't go backwards now because it's not, you don't think it's working enough.
Right. You know, there's an expression that says common sense is not so common. Mm-hmm. And there's a common sense understanding that we will believe things when we see them.
Yes.
But actually, we have to believe it first, and then we will see it. Jen, has that been your experience?
Yeah, and you do the same thing. We tell people to suspend what they know and leap forward. I was recently reading a book, and it talks about how people say, have faith, believe, and the line that struck me was, "I am faith," rather than "have faith." When you look at it, isn't that great? When you look at it, I never
heard that.
I'll give you the reference.
That book was written by Faith Hill, by the way.
Yeah, right. I love her. I think that's a different slant, but also it's a misperception of what people think, or a misconception of what people think weight should be. I deal with this dozens of times every morning. So you guys who are watching out there, when you think you're giving me flack, I'm getting it 10 and 12 and 15 times from everybody. And my biggest thing is, it's not just about weight loss. We have to look at the body, and we have to understand that.
Right.
Restoration program, we're resetting metabolism. Weight loss may not happen every day, but there's magic going on inside that you don't necessarily see.
Oh, absolutely. Because I think that was that round, particularly for me, was like, that was my game changer round, believe it or not. Even though I had, the results weren't what I wanted them to be, they were good. And I never went past that again. So any of my ups and downs in between, It was very different than my first round, and I felt like that was like my mental. That was like me taking control. Like this is life. This is a lifestyle. Yeah. Although it worked, you had your jump start. You need to just refocus and push through.
We've been taught to focus on the weight number, and
always
the reality is like if you're a size 5 or 7 or 10, what does it matter what your weight is as long as you're fitting in clothes that make you look good and feel good. And we use a metric, a body composition analysis scale that shows us what health numbers are. So for body water percentage, body fat percentage, metabolic age, and visceral fat, which is the fat that surrounds your organs, that's the dangerous fat. We use that as a measure of what health is. So, I have to get people to stop looking at weight because it's not the only measurement of health. It's one, but it's not the only one.
And we've had this conversation before too, where everyone's like, oh, well, what's your ideal number? The truth is or it's like, how much do you want to lose? And I don't know, like in my head, I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know. Like, I don't have a real number because I almost forgot the transition in when my number would creep up when I felt my best.
Right.
So
you know how you want to feel.
Exactly. So I feel like when you're telling me to put a number on it, I get like disoriented. I'm like, honestly, I don't know. Like, I don't remember what it feels like to feel good at a particular number. So we kind of have to like break up with those two a little bit. I don't really think there has to be a number with it. Like, I probably feel now the best I felt in years. Am I by my goal number? I'm about 10-ish pounds away from that, but I know I could do better than that too. So do I go by the number or am I feeling?
It's a hard mental trick since we've all been taught that it's about the weight, and we know intellectually that it's not about the weight, and yet we get fixated on that scale. I'd be interested to hear. We have some people who are on right now who have killed it on this program. Alicia, Lisa, Aisha is killing it also. I'd be interested to hear from them about their experiences with faith and certainty and doubts. Is your experience that doubt does kill the warrior, or are you the kind of person that doubt never creeps in?
That's so true because I've never heard that before, and that's good
accurate. Stuff, right? Oh,
doubt kills the warrior. I'm like, that's true.
Read the article. It applies to life.
Absolutely. So let's move on to step 2. So step 2 is to be aware of resentments. Now, let me discuss this a little bit. Yeah. Nobody wants to do a weight loss program. Nobody wants to be in a position where they have to do a weight loss program. It's all a big have to. It's all constraints against what we want to do. We want to be free. More than anything else, we want to be carefree. We want to eat and not have to worry about consequences. We want to be able to do what we want when we want it. And the idea of entering a strict program is tough, and we get resentful. I mean, I'm just to the point personally where I'm resentful about having to eat it all. It's just annoying. Yes, I've done it enough. I've eaten more than my fair share.
Because I don't have to eat ever again.
The cooking, the cleaning, if I'm going to eat because I have to, I want to pick something up and not think about it and eat. And that's just not reality. So step number 2, thank you. Alicia's doing a great job. She's writing all this down. Thank you, Alicia.
Thank you.
Is to be aware of resentment. So let's get honest here with my staff who loves to confess things. Rebecca, what is your biggest resentment when it comes to either weight, losing weight, doing a program? What is it that you really hate and resent?
So I don't like someone calling me out on what I've been doing wrong, right? I don't want to feel like, it's not our fault. That's something I say all the time at home. Well, it's not my fault. My husband called me and was like, "Con, you really have to stop saying that." It's not my fault. Like, it just
do you feel that if you're in a program that involves accountability, that people are going to hold you accountable and blame you and make you wrong?
Well, they're going to hold me accountable. They may not be blaming me and making me wrong, but just by holding me accountable,
they're blaming you and making you wrong.
They're blaming me and making me wrong. So yeah. I want to, if I'm blind to what I've been doing, then I'm not at fault, right? if I don't acknowledge that I've been eating the pies, then it never happened, and I'm not at home.
Right.
The pies. I can never look at pie the same.
Calls me out on it, then suddenly I have to be accountable. So I'm not saying that's right.
No, that's how you feel. No,
that's the mindset.
Yeah.
Now you're making me accountable. Now it's my problem.
Right. Yes. Being responsible can be a horrible thing, because then all of our concerns about, being wrong, not doing the right thing, having somebody see us, those come out.
I want you to see me and tell me I'm perfect. I don't want you to see me and tell me what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah. It's amazing how many people will come into the office and they've done something wrong and they're looking to be beaten up. Like they want us to beat them up. Right? Jen, you've experienced that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because people always, I'll talk to them in the weight room and we'll have a chat, and then they'll say, I don't want to disappoint you. I don't want you to yell at me. I'm like, I just did. I just did. We already did that in the weight room. You know what? It's so funny because people come to us looking to get healthy, and then they find every way to not get healthy. Like, I cheated this weekend, or I did this. And, everyone has a fall off, everybody. So it's definitely not, a blame game. But, like, I'm here to help you. What are you doing here? Like, help me help you kind of thing. And I have this thing with my kids that I said, I stole this. This isn't mine, so don't think I'm so brilliant on this one. They didn't want to tell me things. They would be like, I'm afraid I'm going to get in trouble. I'm like, you're already in trouble. We need to get you out of trouble. So that's kind of the approach. And I use that all the time in the weight room. Like, listen, the confession thing, it's great, but I see it on the scale. People can't fib. I know when they're getting their cycle. I know when they've not used the bathroom. The scale shows everything.
Wait, that's a little creepy, Jen.
It is. No, listen.
This is a conversation in the health and wellness and weight loss field. It just is.
Understood.
Everybody does it.
You have no idea.
Speak for yourself.
But we're here to help. So this whole fighting, you're fighting against yourselves. That's really what's going on. We all do it. We fight against ourselves. Like Rebecca said, you're not. What did you say before about the guilt or feeling like you've done something wrong or it's not your fault?
Yeah, it's not my fault.
Yeah, nobody's blaming you. You're blaming yourself, right?
Don't blame me for eating.
It can be a hard thing to do, to confront the scale, especially if you have in the back of your mind that the other night you had 4 drinks and a pie.
Right.
Or several pies, Rebecca.
Several pies.
Now, Corinne, how about you? What do you resent about the whole process? You had to go away for a while. I don't know if you heard the lead up, but we're talking about just being aware of the things that we resent. Those things that we resent will build up and will sabotage us. So what is it that you resent about losing weight?
I resent that I can't eat chocolate and I can't eat ice cream, because those are my favorite things in the whole wide world. But at the end of the day, I've also learned that it's okay to eat it, but I can't eat a gallon, or I just can't sit there and just eat and eat and eat. It has to be within moderation. Or if I want to eat chocolate when I get mad, or I'm really frustrated, I don't want to have one chocolate bar. I want to have chocolate for dinner.
Right.
And I'm really bad. I could easily eat 5 or 6 chocolate bars in a sitting and be happy, but it's not going to do me any good or make me feel better because eating chocolate, So
understood. And the unfairness, I use the word resentment, but sometimes if you really think about it, just the injustice of the whole thing is more than resentment. There's an actual rage that takes place. The Hulk comes out. I should be able to do this. This person can eat it. Why can't I? Jackie,
food is really. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No,
I was gonna say, food is really unfair because if there are other bad habits that you're trying.
Oh, she froze.
She froze. All right, Jackie. I was going to say you're one of the least resentful people I've ever known, but I have to assume that it exists for you as well.
It does. It does.
So where does that play out for you?
So for me, I think when I am starting some sort of, I don't like the term diet, but in the interim, obviously, the weight loss, jump starting or getting back on track, I think for me, the biggest thing that I resent is not starting right away. Like my biggest issue is, for example, letting myself get to a point where I have to reboot. So I'm resentful for not trusting myself and not allowing myself to make a change sooner. So for example, those so-called Mondays, I'm going to start Monday. I'm going to start Monday. 1 week turns into 2, into 3. And then I'm like, okay, you know what? I have an event going on. I'm just going to wait until, after the holiday weekend. And then it's like, well, summer's here. So maybe I'll just start up in July after 4th of July. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I just put on 15 pounds. Like, why did I do this? So I become more resentful and not sticking to what I'm saying.
And so do you beat yourself up as a result of that?
I do get very frustrated with myself. I do, because I feel like I do hold myself, like I feel like I give good advice and I try to be a supportive person genuinely. Like anything I do say really does come from a good place. So I always kind of get mad that I don't do it for myself, and then I kick myself for not being genuine. It's like a very vicious cycle. And I do resent that. I do. I think that's where I don't give it towards anybody else. I do it to myself.
Understood. Totally.
See, for me lately, it's like I wake up every day and I'm like, okay, I could do this. Okay, yep, I can do this.
But something's holding you back. Like, so it's just that.
I don't know what it is, but
yeah,
it could be the smallest thing, and that's why we have this 3-step plan, because these things of itself, if we confront it, if we take it on, and we do these 3 steps, it can really help us get jump started. So let us move on to step 3. Rebecca, by the way, we lost you there for a moment.
I know what happened. Well, what I was saying was food is really unfair, because if we have other bad habits and we want to stop the bad habits, you just stop.
Yeah.
Right? You want to drink less. You stop drinking. Say you are, I don't know, you're a smoker. You stop smoking.
Right.
You want to stop cursing. You stop cursing. You can't stop eating.
Right.
That's true.
The key situation for a lot of us that have food issues.
So
that's true.
You say that because for me, it's like a trifecta. I'm a reformed nail biter, but I'm picking at my nails.
Yep.
I'm also overeating, and then I'm like late night shopping.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Those things, if I could break one of those habits, all 3 fall into place.
Yes.
Mindset, but food is definitely harder because you do have to eat.
You know what's funny though, that you say that, and Rebecca and I agree with you. A lot of people feel that, well, if I'm doing something so if you're in a bad habit of some sort,
right,
you automatically assume because you're stopping that bad habit, you need to replace it with something else. And that's kind of like a catch-22,
so
right?
We must have a vice. There's a law somewhere that says we must have some vice.
And it's like, not to say that you don't need an outlet of some sort. You do, but it's like we automatically feel that it's a reward to do something bad, because it's like, oh, hey, look, it's a release because it's something bad. It's like that devil on your shoulder, But it's you have to find that it doesn't have to be punishment to you.
Thank you.
To reward yourself, like it's a contradictory,
Yeah.
But it's true.
So let's move on to step number 3. Step number 3, and Alicia, please write this down for us, given that you've chosen to be the recorder.
She said accountability with kindness, by the way, to Jen's coaching.
Thank you.
I've heard screaming in that weight room. I don't know, Jen, when that door is closed. I've heard people crying, yelling. I don't know.
You have to have the come to Jesus talk every once in a while, right? But here's step number 3. Gird yourself for the effort. Now, a little background on this. We've been taught to conserve. We've been taught that our resources need to be conserved because they are limited. They will run out. Effort is one of those resources. We want to parse it out, slowly, and we don't want to expend too much of it. So when we enter a program, we just sometimes are not prepared for the efforts that it takes.
Right.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yes. So the better thing to do, really, there's a great strategy. There's a book that I always recommend. It's by Grant Cardone. It's called the 10X Rule. And he talks about that. He calls it an estimation of effort, right? When we go into it, people will psych themselves out by doing one of 2 things, either estimating that the effort is overwhelming and so they don't want to start. GIRD, G-I-R-D.
GIRD.
I always think of like.
Not girth.
No. like the the women's novels when you say the word GERD.
Oh, okay. So we'll either overestimate it and psych ourselves out, or we'll underestimate it, and then we won't do the actual work that it takes.
So
Now,
yeah,
let me just. I'm sorry. I wanted to complete what I was saying about
Yeah, I
Grant
wanna hear
Jack,
this.
and then it's on you. Don't forget. Write it down.
I am.
Okay. So what Grant Cardone says is he says just assume that you have unlimited energy and you have an unlimited ability to produce effort.
Right.
And whatever you assume, multiply it by 10. If you think it's going to take 2 hours a week for you to lose weight, well, multiply it by 10. It'll be 20. And then you will have overestimated the effort and you will definitely achieve what it is that you want to achieve.
Right.
So, Jack, what is it that you wanted to say?
So what came to me was a majority of people who are hesitant to start a program with us, or anybody in general who's hesitant to start, right? Well, their terms are, it's only 20 days. It's only 40 days, right?
right.
So that's it. So I'm done, right? So it's okay, because after 40 days, I'll be fine, right? I have a vacation. I can just go, I'll be able to eat anything, drink. This is not, although this is a chapter in your life, this should be the footnotes across the board. Like, this is something that you should always follow through with. Obviously, you don't have to be at the absolute strictest during the detox phases, which is, a conversation for another time. But everybody puts the parentheses on it. They stop it right here. This is it. They don't think long term. They don't have an open end. So I think they already psyched them. You almost say, I don't want to say failure. What's the word I'm looking for? But like, they set themselves up for disappointment a little bit, So it's like, okay, well, you said it's 10 pounds in 20 days, right? So then I'm done. It's only 20 days. It's only this. They put a time frame on it and they sell themselves short.
Jen, you're shaking your head.
Yeah, so that kind of thinking is very hard to change.
But it's a lot of people. It's a lot of people.
And for me, as a coach in a holistic healthcare field, when I see that and when people leave and gain the weight back or get unhealthy, it's an incredible blow to my purpose in life, because it's failed purpose for me and for staff. We are here to champion everybody on, and the goal is, this is a shortcut. People say there are no shortcuts in life, and this program is like a shortcut. It's a baby step into health and wellness.
Right, exactly.
Client said that this is not a weight loss program. It's finding your way back to health.
Yes.
And what people don't realize is, like, it's like your car. If you get a car and you don't do the oil changes after you buy the new car, the car's going to break down. Same way. When can I go back to normal eating and my eyes bug out of my head?
Well, what's normal eating?
Well, normal eating is pizza, pasta, ice cream, chocolate, right?
Right.
Yeah, but to be fair though, Jen, it makes sense. It's hard for a person to comprehend constraints for the rest of their life, if you want to call it constraints, right? Because really, what are you giving up? The potential for heart disease, your thighs rubbing together. But people can comprehend 20 days. People can comprehend 40 days. It's hard to comprehend things for life. Rebecca, you have a background as a fitness instructor. So have you noticed that? I mean, when you're dealing with somebody in the context of fitness, do you give them a program for a short time knowing that they can comprehend that and they can handle that? Or do you say, okay, for the rest of your life, you're going to have to sprint every day for an hour?
Yeah, it's dated. I mean, I try to do it more like day-to-day short-term goals, because if you reach your short-term goals, maybe not day-to-day, but week to week, because if you set short-term goals and then those are easier to reach, you put enough short-term goals together and it becomes long-term.
Right.
So that, I think, is easier for people to comprehend.
Yeah, it's building the habits. So
it's true.
It's funny when people ask me about, trying out certain foods. Lynn, who used to work with us as a coach, had the best line ever. She's like, I never bothered testing out pizza because pizza's what got me fat. So why would I test out the foods that got me fat and unhealthy?
But she's very up here, though. She's very like, she's going to do it. She does it, period.
I don't think we ever have people test out pizza. Don't we just assume that that's a trigger?
Oh, I'm sorry. That wasn't week one.
Yeah.
some people want to try it. And the answer is
Sure.
test it. But and then I share with them Lynn's words of wisdom, because, for her, that was her, she stayed straight and narrow, and it worked for her. But, it doesn't mean never. It just rarely. Pizza's
Now,
not the daily food.
For all these things we're talking about now, though, there is a circumstance where suddenly everything changes and reverses itself, where we don't resist the effort, where we don't have so much resentment. And that's this. A person knows they need to lose weight. They've known they need to lose 40 pounds for years.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden they get an invitation to a wedding where they're going to see people that they haven't seen in a long, long time.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden everything is different. Corinne, what do you think goes on at that point? Where all of a sudden it becomes urgent. Those little things don't affect us as much anymore. What is that about?
Oh, you're muted. Corinne, you're muted.
Yeah.
I'm laughing though. Did you guys
Sorry,
see
because
Alicia?
it's a lot of noise in my background. So I'm trying to be respectful. So to me, it's all about like the looking back and the memories behind it. And I don't want to be remembered looking like this in a picture.
Yeah. Or do you ever say like, oh, but we're gonna be taking pictures. What am I gonna wear?
Yeah,
it's always around that.
Jen,
it's all
what's
about
so
the memories that you're
making. Why is Jennifer cracking up?
Is Alicia said thighs.
Yes. But you know what I said? I'll never drop my phone in the toilet because of it. I can't write back. And look at it's so true.
Yeah, it is.
And
true.
look at Lisa.
Oh my God, amazing!
She's on point.
She's amazing. She looks amazing.
She said, "Life. There are things I've experienced that you have to feel. Life is a long walk. Who knew my palate would completely change?"
So that happens. The thing is, the body knows what's best for it. So when we're so toxic and eating junky foods, and we all do it, the body, the taste buds don't know what's good anymore. We want the oversalted, overfatted, bad fats, chemical garbage, because we don't know. The minute you clean out your body with the detox, all of a sudden the body starts craving things that are better for it. Like, who would know an apple would be so good and so satisfying?
Right.
Oh yeah.
So I was thinking the same thing, Jen, that like once you go through that detox, like you get out the sugar and you get out the things that cause that chemical reaction. Yeah. Like, okay, now we're in the clear, but we have this this urge
clarity,
to sabotage, like the pizza, like just let me try it. Well, of course it's going to trigger. It's going to turn into all those carbs are going to turn into sugar, and then we're right back where we started. So, it's so true. Like if we can just stay on that road, like I stopped eating sugar, and when I have my blackberries at 3:00, they are the sweetest thing, and it's so good. But
that's like Corinne, the two of you and blackberries. You're hooked.
Oh my God, the blackberries!
Oh my God, they're my favorite. I ate them this morning.
Right?
Am I the only one that doesn't like blackberries?
Blackberries are so good. I leave them on the counter and they get warm.
Yeah.
What's interesting is how we separate the mental and the emotional and the physiological, but they all play upon each other. And we see that when your palate changes, all of a sudden you don't need so much self-control, so much willpower.
Right.
I do want to get back, though, to this factor that we were talking about, that how everything
in an event,
in a moment when you, for example, receive an invitation. Rebecca, you're in charge of marketing. Rebecca and Jackie, you both deal with marketing, right? So do we need to do that? Do we need to have a pretend reunion for people? Do we need to say, suddenly your high school reunion's coming up, you're going to see your old girlfriend or boyfriend, and this is the game we're now playing?
It's so funny because that's something I'm working on right now with one of the media companies is a new ad that's kind of like, it's time to go back out into public, right? It's time to put your pants on because, I think, we've all gotten so used to putting on our sweats or putting on our cute yoga pants, that it's time. The world is opening. The reunion is here, right?
Yeah,
that's true.
Reunions are starting to happen all over the place. What are you going to wear? What fits? How are you going to button your pants? So,
we don't have the luxury to hide anymore.
There's no more hiding.
Not from here up.
Nope.
That's how we've been living. It's not about the Zoom phase.
Not the Zoom phase.
Howdy now. You guys. What?
Jen can't hear us anymore.
We
now
were
now
talking
it's
about
time
Jen
to
not
talk
wearing
about Jen.
pants.
I
Yeah, let's-
wonder why we're cutting out Jen.
Jen doesn't wear pants on Zoom.
Corinne, are you suggesting that Jen is just saying she's cutting out because she doesn't want to deal with
She
this?
doesn't want to admit that she has no pants on.
La, la.
I got my cute yoga pants on now.
Me
But
too.
it's true. Like, so the other day I had a long day out and I decided I was going to wear my pants that buttoned, pants that I haven't worn in a
Yes, that
while.
button.
Pants.
Stretch pants are
That's a big
pants.
deal. They button these. They were my cute camos, my stretchy camos. And it was interesting all day. I felt a little uncomfortable, not even because they were super tight, but it was like, ooh, there's clothes. Like I'm wearing a bra. I'm wearing pants that button. Like this feels weird. So if they're tight and you're doing that now, oh my goodness.
The way you say that is so true. Oh, sorry, Dr. R, go ahead.
No, you go.
The
please.
way you say that's so true. So Isabella my daughter just made her communion. And so obviously we've known this is coming. So I've been looking for dresses and outfits to wear for, and Jen and Corinne are rolling their eyes because God knows what I've ordered and bought in the past 6 months.
No,
That nothing, what?
beautiful. It was like a fashion.
But I'm like, there was nothing out there. Nothing made me feel good when I tried it on.
Yeah.
And I can't say it was because of how I looked exactly. Because do I feel good? Yes. Can I look better? Absolutely. Can I feel better? 1,000%. You could always feel better, right? But I tried everything I tried on. So it just nothing was there. I finally found one of the last dresses, which was a last minute purchase, totally opposite of what I thought I wanted. And I loved it, right? But can I tell you, we were taking professional pictures the other day and I felt myself just constantly adjusting and fixing myself.
Yeah.
I'm fixing my side, I'm pulling my dress, I'm smoothing it out. I felt so, and I don't want to say self-conscious, but I guess I was, because I'm like, I don't know what it was about me that I just felt like I was out, and my arms, and did I look too pale? Was my makeup look even? Does my hair look straight? And I'm like, what happened? I remember getting up, getting dressed for work, and I didn't even touch my makeup the rest of the day. And now it's like my shirt is even, I'm leaning over. Do I look bad like this? I must have said to my husband in an hour photo shoot, do I look fat? Is it sticking out? And he was just like, calm down. Like, it's not that serious. And it really is, because it's been so long that we really put that much effort into ourselves.
Yeah.
And I never, and mind you, before this, I don't do it for anybody else. Anytime I put on makeup and get dressed, it was always for me. I enjoyed getting dressed up. I enjoyed being casual. I always walk out of the house for myself first in terms of how I look. It's not about what anybody else's opinion is. But for some reason, where I'm at a point where it's like, oh my God, people are going to see me. Like, they're looking at me.
But there's a big irony here, though. Now that society is opening up again and people are going to see you, well, people want to celebrate. And how do we celebrate? We eat.
We drink.
Memorial Day is coming up. Right. People are going to want to go to barbecues. So, there's that on the one hand thing that Jen is always fond of saying. On the one hand is that, we have to put on our pants again and people are going to see us. And we're worried, Rebecca, that they're going to look at us like, what the hell have you been doing during this pandemic?
As if it's only you. As if it was only you.
And, well, yes, and that's where misery loves company. But on the other hand, we want to get together. We want to celebrate. And, of course, that has to do with eating. The summer's coming up. Drinking. We know how booze sabotages people. So this is kind of what we have going on now. Now, we've devised something, or we're actually bringing something back in order to help people with this challenge. We want to help people get through Memorial Day weekend. We want to help people with the summer. We want to make sure that everyone's healthy and everyone is not gaining another 10 pounds. So, Jackie and Rebecca, why don't you explain what we're going to be doing?
Jackie?
Mario, go ahead.
They're so polite.
So we are,
as I prep myself,
we're bringing back the Shut Your Pie Hole contest or challenge. Shut Your Pie Hole challenge. And what we're doing is we are challenging people, either folks that are on program currently or maybe people that want to see what we're about and come in for a consultation, to stick to their plan Memorial Day weekend, to stay accountable, right? To not shift away from what they know they should be doing to stay healthy. And if you're able to do that and you come in and see us the following week, you get to pie somebody in the face.
Literally, pie them
like this.
Like,
Oh,
just like that.
Now you know why I'm wearing the scrubs.
you guys.
This is how far we're willing to go just to help you people. I hope you appreciate this.
I'm eating it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
mine is shaving cream. I can't eat it. I don't even have anything to wash it off.
You need to
It's a
shave.
napkin. Wait a minute.
I'm
My
blind.
nose. It's up my nose. It's up my nose.
This is what's going to happen. So
I need
this is,
napkin.
this is what we're willing to do just to help people, to encourage them, to give you some motivation. Not that we should need any more motivation to be healthy,
Right.
but I think the ultimate motivation for people will be the possibility of pieing Jen. I feel like there are a lot of people who want to pie Jen. Am I wrong about this, Jen?
Are you gonna wipe your face?
So,
I can't. I don't have anything to wipe with.
so last year we did the Shut Your Pie Hole challenge was if you cheated, you got to pie Jen. No, if you didn't cheat.
If you
No,
didn't,
If you cheated, that's
if you
right.
cheated, you
If
got
you
to pie
cheated,
Jen.
You got to pie me. If you didn't, you got to pie Dr. R. And I took that position because I thought that would keep. I had so much confidence that would keep people on the straight and
people
narrow.
are mad at you, Jen. They were so
Nobody-
mad at you.
Nobody
Look,
wanted to
sweet
pie
Jen. Yeah, nobody's going to want to pie her.
Oh, God. It was so
Wait,
bad.
I'm going to be back. You guys talk amongst yourselves here.
But there's also the charitable part.
Yes.
of it.
Yes, talk about that.
Go ahead, Greg.
If you cheat, if you go off your program or you're unhealthy, then you have to put $1 in the jar.
We ask that you donate. Yes.
You donate to, what's the charity, Jackie?
So we do it for the Food Bank of New Jersey, and we did it. We actually did it, and it was amazing. They took us there. We took a tour of the facility, and we were able to present them with the check. And I could actually look up the reference, but I believe it was like
4,000 meals,
it
something
was
like that.
it was a
That's
tremendous
ridiculous.
amount of meals that we were able to give for such a what's considered a small denomination. So of course you're not we're not forcing you to, but by all means it's all for a good cause. And Dr. R will actually also match that as well, which is really nice. And it was just it was fun, make lighthearted of it. And as much as we're giving up the urge to eat bad food, we're actually giving good meals to people who really need it.
Yeah.
So it was something fun, and we're all jumping in on the challenge. And me and Rebecca are working on this, so you'll be getting emails today. And please, we don't want you to cheat anyway, but still, I have it stuck to my nose.
Yeah. I opt out this year.
Listen. That's why I said let Rebecca talk while I prepare myself. I was putting on my plate. I thought I was doing good.
I forgot, Jackie, that you had to get ready.
I was like, wait, how do you talk about it, Rebecca? And I'm like shaking the. By the way, don't buy Ready Whip. It's not healthy. Okay, it's not healthy. Don't eat this.
Make your own. If you're on phase 4 and beyond and you're eating healthy fats again, make your own. It's very easy to whip up some whipped cream.
Oh my god, I do it all the time. I
Organic.
love mine.
Organic.
Love mine.
So much, it tastes so much better.
Oh yeah, it's richer. It's richer. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's like so-called we need a vice, right? We still need an outlet. We're not saying don't ever eat again and don't stay away from everything bad, but there's always a better version that could be found.
Yeah, there's always a better choice. And whipped cream happens to be one of my weaknesses. Big weakness.
Well, let's do this. Let's sum up now with what we went over today. So again, we have to win the mental game. That goes without saying. If we lose the mental game, we're lost, period.
Right.
All right. The 3 steps. 1 is choose certainty.
Mhm.
Number 2 is be aware of resentments. Right. So for number 1, remember, doubt kills the warrior. Number 2, be aware of resentments. Be aware of those things that you hate, those have-tos. Just being aware of them will free you up a little bit. Write them down if you need to. Step 3 is gird yourself for the effort. Effort is necessary. We try to do things without expending any effort, but that's impossible. It doesn't work that way in the real world. And remember that each of these factors affect each other. Uncertainty will lead to resentment and a lack of willingness to expend resources. Resentment will lead to uncertainty and a lack of willingness to expend resources. And unwillingness to expend resources will certainly lead to uncertainty and resentment. So all these things play upon each other, and we have to have all 3 of them. Okay? Now, we have to understand that these factors exist. If we don't address them, they will bite us on the what, Jen?
Tuchus.
On the tuchus.
I can't say ass.
So we need to be aware of this, and we can win the mental game, and that's just the bottom line. What else do we want to say before we let people go? I will let my beautiful staff have the last word.
Have a great week. And we all got it this week.
Yeah.
We got it. Wait, you want to say we are FinTech?
No.
No.
I put
That's an
everybody on
internal
the
thing.
spot.
All right.
It's an internal thing.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
All right, take care.
Bye,
We'll see you
guys.
next week.
Bye.
Alicia, I probably can, so I'm not going to.
Still alive.
3 times fast.
Be good.
Bye, guys.